Hey, what's up, Twitter? All right, so this one is IP rights. I'm just going to tell a story of how I secured IP rights. And if you get something from it, great. If you don't get something from it, then throw it away and do it your way, you know? But this is a way I made it work. So going back in the past, I pitched this to my agent at the time, and the agent was like, "Nah, I don't see it. Move on to something else." And I'll tell you what it was. It was a story of the modern day founding fathers and founding mother and first black founding father. That's the story I wanted to tell. Very political, dark political, and and the agent said, "Why don't you do a story about, I don't see it. Like, why don't you do a story of like Amazon or something?" And I'm like, that's not even close to what I'm trying to do. Like that's whatever, capitalistic. I'm trying to do political, like way bigger story. But I put it aside. And so fast forward 5 years, I see this, and mine was fictional at the time, and I see the story in details where there's guys trying to do this for real, trying to start a new country for real. I see it in details, and I'm like, oh shit, this has always been in the back of my mind. Instantly, researching where else is this story? How big is this? Am I too late? And it's in details. It's in like GQ. It's in like Forbes. It's in NPR. It's all over the place. And I'm like, shit. There's no way in hell I'm gonna get these rights. I'm dead at this point. Shit. But I'm like, let me try anyway. And so I go through channels, and I should say this first of all. Then when I saw that and I realized I want to go after this story, then I went to the VP at HBO and I said, hey, I'm trying to get this story, but I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, chicken and the egg. Like, I need you guys to get them, and I need them to get you. So I'm kind of stuck, And the VP of drama said, you know what? Who I've known for like 10 years at this point, and hey, sometimes it takes time to know people. And he said, you know what? You can tell them that HBO is enthusiastically interested. So I said, great. That gives me leverage. And he knew that to go talk to them. So then I went through channels, got to the assistant, and briefly said, I'm trying to do a TV show about this. HBO says they're enthusiastically interested. I would love to be put in touch with these people. That's kind of it. And then he's like, great, I'll send it along, kind of no promises. And I'm like, cool, thank you. Weeks go by, right? Nothing happens fast. Weeks go by, I hear back, and they say, tell us more. What is this? And, so, I briefly say some stuff. We tag each other, back and forth on emails and so forth. And I say, I would love to come up and essentially pitch you what my take is. I'm very passionate about this. I would love to, I'm ready to come up at a moment's notice and just let me know when, and I'm on a plane. And then it's like weeks go by, maybe 3, maybe 5, who knows. And then finally they get back and say, great, come up. We're available Tuesday at 3 p.m. So I'm like, cool, book my flight, I'm out, and fly up, rent a car, get a hotel, do all that, go meet with them, realizing this meeting might only go 15 minutes, 10 minutes. They might meet me and be like, I don't like this guy, I don't trust him, nah, But it shows that I'm passionate enough about it to go out of my way. I think that's another key thing. Two key things so far. Leverage, try to build that leverage up front, and then so you have something to work with. Number 2, I'm going out of my way I'm putting more skin in the game than them, and I'm proving it, you know. So I fly up, and we do the meeting, and it's probably 2-3 hours, and by the end of it, they're like, oh, and I'm at their headquarters and so forth, and at the end of it, they're like, oh, by the way, we signed a deal with Simon & Schuster. We're going to have a book coming out soon. And I'm like, oh, you have some of the manuscript? And like, yeah, do you want to read it? I'm like, fuck yeah. And they're like, oh, here you go. And I'm like, great. Oh, by the way, before I leave, is there anyone else like sniffing around this, circling around this? And they're like, yeah, who is it? Oh, J.J. Abrams. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way I'm going to get this, but whatever. So I leave with the book, read it. It's great. And from then on, I spent 3 years getting to know them, getting to earn their trust to try to get the rights to this. 3 fucking years. So writers, give me immediately. Like, this took 3 years just for the chance to do it. And going back and forth and eventually a huge producer attached to it. But getting the rights, it got to the point where my manager, nothing against my manager at the time, not saying anything negative, it's just factually like how it went down. The manager's like, it's a no from them. After I worked on it for 3 years, dude. And I'm just like, I can't accept no for an answer, kind of, and I said, how would you feel if I keep trying? I think I can get these guys. I think I can. And the manager's like, you know what? If you think you can, then yeah, go ahead. Like, try, go for it. And so I kept working on them and finally secured a shopping agreement. Number 3 thing, important. I would go that way, offering them like, hey, can I option your stuff for $500 or whatever change you have in your pocket or whatever. I don't think that's smart. I think it's better to do a shopping agreement, because then it's like there's no money involved. All you're doing is just giving me time to see if I can put this together. You don't have to do anything. See if I can put it together, and if a deal is made, you get to make your own deal, all of that. And the agent was fine with it and everything. And by the way, they never said yes. They never said yes. We just went back and forth enough times to where they finally, they just signed the shopping agreement. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's a yes to me, So you don't even need them to say yes, but it might be the type of thing where you're going to have to work on it a long, long, long time. 3 years I worked on them, So be patient, be humble, be loyal, convince them that you're the person to write it, convince them that you have the same message that you're trying to put forth. This was a tricky thing because they were dealing with presidents and so forth of countries and trying to put this massive deal together for themselves. And they didn't want me to like screw that up. You know what I mean? So, with my fiction, so it was tricky. And another thing, they asked to see my show Bible and I sent it to them. And the only thing they said back is, interesting. Do you mind if we send it to the rest of the team? And I said, I didn't want to send it in the first place, but I said, sure. But that told me, at least they don't hate it. I'm still in. So getting IP, sometimes it's going to be really, really difficult. And you got to be in it for the long haul. It takes time to earn people's trust and all of that. So, and I would recommend shopping agreement. It takes the pressure off. Their agent is gonna be like, okay, this is less dangerous, and so will they, and it shows respect, I think. So that's it. Later.